Oh, okay.
Okay, so
All right.
the first concert you ever went to, okay?
Yeah.
And how did it melt your face?
Well, okay. All right. Well, are we ready?
I guess we are.
Whoa, hey. Certainly loud enough. Hey, Jon Peckman Podcast, Connecticut Valley School of Music and Dance, beautiful downtown Portland. Come over the bridge, pull a U, park in front of the music store with the red neon light. We have vinyl here. We have a lot of vinyl, which we're going to talk about today. And I'm not sure exactly what we're doing, but I believe we did a rerun episode last week of the great Bernard Purdy, who we had in here probably a year and a half ago. And that was episode 2. And this is episode 2.
Yeah.
Where I'm not sure what we're doing, but I think I'm the guest or you're the guest.
No, I think you're the guest.
Okay, this is Dave Kuzminski, our fearless leader, who built this place.
We built the city on rock and roll.
That's right. And I didn't really have a guest this week, so we're just gonna kind of like freeform, I guess. Dave is going to ask me some ridiculous questions. I don't know if we're going to get a full hour out of this, but we're going to do something. We have some weird questions. Now, I can't answer all of them. I really can't.
Okay. Well, this is one of the questions a lot of times you ask your guests.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So
right.
the first concert you ever went to, okay?
Yeah.
And how did it melt your face?
Well, okay. All right. Well, I probably told this story. I mean, I don't know what counts, but my mom worked at Oakdale way back in the day, so I would see like Fiddler on the Roof, or I think I saw Burt Bacharach or the Fifth Dimension, and those were cool. But to me, like concert was my parents took me to see the Bee Gees at the New Haven Coliseum.
There we go.
During the height of Saturday Night Fever era.
Yeah.
And it was the whole New Haven Coliseum experience of like the parking garage, driving to the top and the whole thing. And I had never seen a show like that before. They had lasers, they had pyro, they were in the white suits together, the whole thing. It was a huge spectacle. I would like to see that show now, but it was mind blowing because I never saw a show like that was like a concert. And
is the New Haven Coliseum still there, or they blew that up?
Oh yeah, no, that's long gone.
Oh, okay.
And it was amazing, and the people next to me. So I was sitting with my parents, and the people next to us, I guess who were adults, they lit up a joint, started smoking weed next to me, and I had never experienced that before, and the smell kind of freaked me out, and I freaked out. And I told my dad, I'm not sure what's going on over there. Of course, my dad was like, put that out. My son's here. And I don't remember what happened. But that was kind of mind-blowing. And then I was, petrified. That was probably 1978 or 79, if I had to guess.
Okay.
And then the next concert that I remember going to see myself, it was probably 80 or 81. I saw Cheap Trick and UFO opened, and we had 8th row on the floor seats. And I looked at those tickets. I made because I was in junior high in metal shop, I made like a box. We had to make a box.
Oh, okay, like a cameo box.
Yeah, like,
Yeah.
Looked like I don't even know, like a lunch box or something. And I put that frickin' ticket in the box.
Yep.
I looked at that ticket every day until it was probably March 7th, I bet you, if I had to think about it.
Yeah.
But I looked at that ticket every frickin' day. We had 8th row on the floor. 8th row on the floor. That's all I remember.
Wow.
And I went with a couple of rock and roll buddies. Our parents just dropped us off. Like, we'll meet you out front at the end. Like, you were on your own. So we were 8th row on the floor. Lights go down. UFOs getting ready to come on. Lights go down, and they start playing the beginning of The Shining, which was the scariest music ever.
Oh, wow.
And it was like, this ain't the Bee Gees. Like, we're in it now.
Yeah.
Everybody's smoking weed. Like, it's on.
Yeah.
UFO comes out. They're amazing. Cheap Trick comes out. They were amazing. And I was right there. I couldn't believe it. It was like it was made for me. I was seeing the whole thing. And at the end, for the encore, we all kind of ran out and rushed the stage, as we used to call it.
Yeah.
And Bunny Carlos came out to the front of the stage and threw a drumstick directly to me, and I caught it, and I still have it.
Hey,
that was it.
Nice.
So Bee Gees was my first real experience of like a big concert, and Cheap Trick was the rock and roll show.
Nice.
That was the one.
Nice.
So, yeah, there was no talking to me after that.
There you go. That was it. That was the deal. That was
the one. Yeah, that was the one.
If your drumming style was a sandwich, what would be on it?
Oh boy. Oh wow. Well, what would be on it, or what kind of sandwich?
Well, that was that's.
I mean, it would be a meatball sub for sure.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Meaty, juicy, made out of bits rolled into a ball.
Yep.
Pretty much.
There you go.
I would think so. I think that would be one.
All right. Okay. The pizza question. Okay.
Oh boy.
You're familiar with the pizza? Dean Falcone was here.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So what's your preference on pizza out of the three big?
All right. Well, the short answer is Sally's.
Okay.
And here's why. So, growing up in Wallingford, and we had local Wallingford pizza. Shout out to Napoli. That was my hometown pizza on the west side. And then when I was a really little kid and growing up on the east side, there was Zachary's, which was like a Greek place on Center Street. But, around high school, it was like New Haven was like an exotic, crazy place.
Yeah.
Like, let's get clove cigarettes and we'll go down to New Haven and smoke our clove cigarettes and go see a movie at York Square, a foreign film that we didn't understand or anything like that. Try to get invited to Yale parties or whatever.
Yeah.
So like New Haven was like, oh, and I don't remember who it was, but I remember Mike Livingston. He was here.
Yes. Okay.
And I think he might have been the first person that turned me on to, hey, what are you doing Friday? We're going to go down and wait in line at Pepe's or Sally's or whatever for pizza. And I was like, what's that all about? And so that was the thing, like being from Wallingford, all pile in the car and go down. It was like a New Haven experience. Like you're on the streets of New Haven. Like, oh boy, this is exciting. And wait in line on like a Friday or Saturday night, either at Pepe's or at Sally's. I don't remember where we went first. But that was the thing. Like you would wait in line for an hour to get in. And I think we might have went to Pepe's first, and then over the years you would alternate, and it was always, I didn't even know Modern existed, so not a Modern person.
Okay.
I didn't know. We're on Worcester Street where it's like Pepe's or Sally's.
Yeah.
And so Modern is over on State Street, so I never went there, never knew about it. So between Pepe's and Sally's, I don't remember then which one I liked because they were both awesome. But I do remember there was one time I was at a party and they had both. There were both there at the same time.
Oh,
like
okay.
somebody, we were doing some sort of, actually, you know what it was? I was in 8 to the Bar years ago, and we did some pilots for a bunch of TV shows. Like we got hired to be the band they did like 4 different shows for like a month.
Okay.
They'll run a show for a week and then run a show for a week. And one of them was the Joy Behar show. Actually.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, wow.
Way back when.
The View.
Yeah. It was funny. But she did a pilot for a show, which none of these shows happened. But there was like, they were using TNH to like film the show in front of an audience, and 8 to the Bar was the band. And I think the Joy Behar show, one of the topics was pizza, one of the guests. And they had both Pepe's and Sally's just to settle it on the spot. And that was the day because you can't put it in your memory banks. Whichever one you eat last is the best one.
Yeah.
And you can't decide.
Yeah.
But the day that I had both Pepe's and Sally's like right back to back, that's when I knew Sally's. I liked Sally's better.
And that's it.
Because it was like, okay.
Bada bing.
Because you can't, you know what I mean? You can't keep that in mind. And I remember about the Joy Behar show. I had no idea who she was. I don't think anybody knew who she was yet. This was just like she was trying to get into into the TV biz, and we were getting ready to do the show, and like Cynthia, the band leader of 8 to the Bar, was very uptight. You know, it was just like we just got to follow direction. We don't know what we're doing.
Yep.
And all of a sudden, we were like getting ready to go to do the show, to go on the air, and one of the stage manager comes over and goes, "You're the drummer?" And I was behind the drums. I go, "Yeah," and they go, "Come with us." And I'm like, "Why?" And they said, "We just need you for a minute." And Cynthia's like, "Okay." So they took me into Joy Behar's dressing room, right? And I come in and she goes, "You're the drummer?" And I said, "Yeah." She's like, "Oh, okay. Well, don't be afraid to, if somebody says something funny, I just want to hook up with the drummer. If you want to give a little badunch or whatever."
Yeah.
And I was like, "Really?" And she's like, "Yeah, you know, I mean, just if there's something really obvious, don't be afraid to do something." And I, you know, okay. And I came back and told Cynthia, you know, what do they want? And they said to, you know, don't be afraid to badumsh. And I was just so deadly nervous, and I couldn't hear them because they were, you know, the band was over here.
Yeah.
And we get through a show, and then Joy wants to talk to you, and I go, and she goes, "Drummer, what are you doing?" And I said, "I can't hear you guys. I can't hear you from over there." And I think they gave me headphones, and they were like, "Oh, we'll hook you up."
Okay.
Oh, I was the only one in the band
that had headphones.
Yeah, there was like a stage manager who would cue the band.
Yeah.
You know, so like when we go to break, he would be like, "Hit it," you know, and so that was the liaison. But I got the straight pipe because I had an earpiece or I had headphones or something, and I think I did it once. Like I was so scared, you know. I'm like, but I think there was once it was pretty obvious, and I went a badoom psh, and Joy was like, "There you go," you know. And so I was thrilled because I saved it. But anyway. Long story, but that's Pepe's and Sally's. That's my two.
Okay.
That's my story of. So I'm Team Sally's. Sorry.
All right.
Not by much.
There you go.
You know.
Well, that's that. You heard it right here, folks.
But you know, that's how it went.
All right. Jon Peckman is Sally's house.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yep.
So okay, we just got a treasure trove of vinyls that you got. And so
all right.
And I know you signed up for tickets for.
Oh yeah, we got. I forget when it is. I think it's in October. Casey and the Sunshine Band are coming to. Shit, I don't even know where my phone is. Coming to Waterbury.
Okay.
And I got tickets. My wife loves Casey. I don't mind Casey, but that's like her thing. And the tickets came up on sale in my feed, and I bought tickets for us for some occasion. I don't know when. Let me look see when it is. So, you know, so my thing is, like with Casey and the Sunshine Band, do they have album cuts? That's what I want to know, because we know what the hits are.
Yeah.
But then you see a Casey and the Sunshine Band album, and you're like, it's October 10th on a Friday.
Okay.
At the Palace in Waterbury. So that's my thing. Is like Casey and the Sunshine Band. You go
get down on it.
Well, no, that's Cool in the Gang.
Oh, is it?
By the way.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
Who we've seen a couple of times already. We kind of got into it. But the thing about Casey is you go, so what's an album cut from Casey and the Sunshine Band? I don't know, but we're going to find out. So Dave got like, how many records would you say are down there?
Maybe 300.
Yeah, got to be about 300. So Dave's got this little side hustle over here at Connecticut Valley School of Music and Dance where
we have vinyl.
And he just got a major freaking bump. You know, we got it like 300. And there's some good stuff down there. There's some, you know, not as good, but there's stuff for everybody. I think it was better than average. But I found got a pile here. We're going to see what kind of deal we can cut. But a Casey and the Sunshine Band album. And there's a lot of pictures in here.
You want to just hold it up to the camera?
Yeah. So I don't know if this is the first. I don't know. I have to get into the Casey and the Sunshine Band discography, but this is a genuine article here. Yeah, I mean, there's songs in here that I don't know. I mean, Shake Your Booty's on here. I'm Your Boogeyman's coming on here, is on here. Keep It Comin' Love is on here, but the other ones I don't know. So, like, what is a Casey album cut? That's what I want to know. Like, is it far out? And this is a genuine article. I think he had his own label. Yeah, TK Records out of Florida. So, RCA distributed 1976. So this is part 3. Part 3, side B. Anyway, yeah, Casey and the Sunshine Band, part 3. I guess this is their third album, but this is the genuine article, like a Casey and the Sunshine Band, first edition album cuts. I don't know what's going to be on here. Let's see what this is. What is this? Who Do You Love? I guess is the name of this album. I don't recognize any of the songs. This must be either on the downside or the upside. But I don't recognize any of these songs. So this might be on the slide down. I mean, I don't know. I don't know where we are. I don't know where we are in the continuum here. I'm not sure. Does Casey look like he's on the way up or on the way down? I'm not exactly sure. But yeah, another genuine article. TK Records. So yeah, I don't know. I'm just curious.
That's probably looks like. It looks like he is on the upside because his face is not pudged out there.
Yeah. Well, join the club. What side am I on right now? That's what I want to know. So yeah, so a couple of Casey and the Sunshine Band albums, give those a spin and see if there's any deep cuts. I don't know how deep Casey gets, but we're gonna find out. And then these are interesting. There's a couple of. So where did you say these came from?
This came from, I believe, the Rocky Hill Library.
The Rocky Hill Library, Rocky Hill, Connecticut. And so there are some Connecticut relics here, which would disappear into the vapor if we didn't save them. This is a Tire Biter record, a local band, Tire Biter, from 1979. This record, Joe Burst at Connecticut Recording in Bridgeport. Of course, that place a lot of people recorded there.
Well, Gary Goodman.
And that's Gary Goodman right there.
Yep, there we go.
The late great.
Yeah, I went to school with Gary at the Hartford Conservatory.
There you go. So this is like the original Tire Biter boys, like a local Wide Boo Records, Enfield. That's just got to be them. See what else is on here. I don't know who. Does anyone know who Ron Bacchiocchi is the producer? But Joe Burst, I remember.
Yep. Oh.
And so this is a genuine Connecticut product. This is they press this, and there's a lyric sheet inside with all the info and stuff. So like this is like the real deal. So this was precious to somebody. Somebody got this together. So I never saw that before. I had a record, WHCN homespun record from way back in the day. They had like all the local bands, a lot of local bands had one cut on there.
Yep.
And my drum teacher, Vic Steffens, his band, Nappy Brown, I was like, man, my drum teacher's on a record. And I remember that there was a Tire Biter cut on that record too that's from this album. So this is a genuine Connecticut product that I will treasure that. And then this is even crazier. I don't even know who printed this. It's not clear to me, but it's the Wild Weeds Greatest Hits and More. So if you don't know the Wild Weeds, that was Ray Ziner and and Al Anderson and Bob Dudek and who else? Who else did we say?
Al Lepak?
Al Lepak. Yeah. Wow. This is crazy. So I don't even, this label is like Club 51 Records. Like this is a Connecticut product here. There's I heard about them opening for the Doors at Oakdale.
Yeah.
And there's a picture of the ticket.
Well, that's when wasn't it WDRC was around?
Yeah, there they are, number one on top of Sweet Soul Music, Arthur Conley. Yeah, so this is yeah, I don't know a lot of these songs, but
now did the Wildweed, did they ever play Toad's Place?
Oh, I don't know. It's before my time. 6, 7, 8. Yeah, this looks like a whole bunch of stuff. I mean, there's got to be somebody that knows more about this than I do. But this was the Wildweeds. Can you imagine that?
Yeah.
I mean, I only heard about them. I didn't know. I wasn't. I don't even know if I was born yet. But
well, you played with Ray Zeiner's son, Matt. Right?
Sure. Oh yeah. Yeah, I played with Matt for years. And I played with Al a couple of times. The first time, it was funny. I was playing with Jim Chapdelaine. He had his band Dancing with Henry, and we did they did a couple reunion gigs. And back in the day, they had a drum machine, but they hired me to play drums on it, and on their gigs. And Jim was old buddies with Al, like they go way back.
Yeah.
And I was leaving for the gig, and Jim called me and he goes, "Hey, I just want to give you a heads up. I don't know. I'm just going to tell you so that you don't, freak out, or you might want to know, but Al is in town and he's going to do the gig with us. He's going to play all night." I was like, whoa, that's kind of heavy. So that was Ultimate Billiards in Berlin, which is now the Truck Bar.
Okay.
The Truck Bar, which people play. And I remember driving up there going, whoa, this is, I still am a huge NRBQ fan.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, this is going to be cool. So told my parents, they came. I had a friend of mine who is an NRBQ freak. I told him, he showed up. And sure enough, I get to the gig to load in, and there's Al just kind of hanging out, sitting there. I said hi to him. He was very nice. And he played with us all night. And then people, it was a small crowd. But once they kind of figured out that it was him, they started yelling out, requests, NRBQ tunes. And I was ready. I was like, let's do this.
Yeah.
So we played a whole bunch of whatever Q tunes they could remember. And then we got to a certain point and someone yelled out, "No Good to Cry." And we're like,
that's a classic.
Let's try it, and we got through it and it sounded good. And I think the sound man, Kevin Parkinson, if he's still out there, recorded it. And I only have 2 songs, but he did like a board tape. He got a couple of songs.
Okay.
So I have I got me playing Riding in My Car, and I think Get Rhythm with Al and the boys. And I was psyched.
Wow.
I was psyched. So that was kind of a big deal.
Yeah.
And then another point, I played, Jim Chap had Al playing in his band, and we did a double bill with Danny Cooch. We played at Bridge Street. They played, and then we played the other way around. And at the end, we all played.
Yeah.
And that was insane. It was just like playing with Danny and Al and Jim, and it was nuts. It was crazy.
Wow.
So anyway,
that's memorable.
Yeah, that was. And speaking of, so I found this down there, a cutout. Don Henley, I Can't Stand Still, probably from, if I had to guess, I don't know what year, probably 82. Wow. It was earlier than I thought. But this is like the Danny Cooch years of Don Henley. So Don and Danny, produced by Don Henley, Danny Korchmar, and Greg Ladagny. So this record is like Danny co-wrote this whole album, and there he is.
There's the liner notes.
Yeah, there he is on the inside. And this had Dirty Laundry was the hit. So I think All She Wants to Do Is Dance was probably the next record. But this record is all, every song is either written or co-written by Danny Cooch. So that's kind of cool to have on Elektra, 1982. So I think that was kind of one of his lives, getting out of, the Mellow Mafia and kind of jumped into the 80s with this.
Yep.
Which at the time was pretty cutting edge.
Yeah.
For all of them. Don Henley coming out of the Eagles thing and making, I guess, not like a new wave record, but more like a new wave record than a Mellow Mafia record or whatever, however you want to think about it. But that was that. All right, I'll just blast through these quick. Alvin Lee, but I had this record as a promo because I had a record company uncle that I talk about all the time who worked for RSO. So promos would come to the house whenever he would send boxes of promos. And I remember this record being in the house. And, I haven't seen this record cover in years, but I used to stare at that drum kit with the gong behind it and the whole 9 yards.
There we go.
Oh, man. So that'll go in the record rack. I'm kind of slowly, like when I run into things like this, I find records that I had back then, and I kind of put them all together in the rack, and it just looks like my record collection when I was 12, which is kind of sad, but that's what we do. Discovered this down there, unopened, almost a whole Sly and the Family Stone discography you had down there. So Life, which I think is their second album, Sly and the Family Stone, not even opened. And then Dance to the Music, which I think was the third record. I think A Whole New Thing was the first one, I think. But anyway, not even opened. Here's another one. The next Sly album. And then the next one after that was Stand.
Yep.
So, my parents had this when I was a kid. So I remember looking at these photos, but all that, and then a Greatest Hits, which I remember from being young. And these are all promos, it looks like. But yeah, that's pretty much the whole Sly Stone discography right there, which is nice. And then look at this, an Are You Experienced stereo. Belonged to somebody. But that was just sitting in that pile too. And Axis Bold as Love sitting in that pile too. So, you get the first two Hendrix records just sitting there. Pretty cool. I've never seen this before. I don't know what this is, but this is on Reprise too. This is just Otis and Jimmy at the Monterey Pop. So this is, I don't know who mixed it or what went on, but this is just them, just their performances. So I want to hear the Otis stuff, in one shot. So that's that. This is funny. So again, I had an uncle who worked for RSO, and I remember this record too from when I was a kid, Player, who had one song, Baby Come Back. That was their song. Is it even... So this is the second album. This is the album that doesn't even have Baby Come Back on it.
Really?
Yeah, this is it probably got dropped after this. But this is like the second album. That's so funny. Yeah. None of these songs were hits. So that was kind of that is definitely the danger zone. What's the matter? What do you got?
Somebody came in the door.
Okay. Someone's in the front door. I'm talking to myself.
Carry on.
Yeah. So is this the one with... So anyway, I don't even know if this is... Oh, they're on Casablanca by now.
Oh, you're still here. Okay.
Yeah, we just, Alex showed us some of the views for his band.
Yeah, it looks like Player went from RSO to Casablanca. That's not a good sign. And they're down to 3 players. Whoa.
Turn the front light out.
All right. Anyway. So yeah. Player's third album. Can you imagine that? I don't even know. We'll see. see what that's all about. Yeah, we're getting towards the end. Look at that. A Motown of Marvin Gaye's greatest hits. Looks like this was 1983 compilation, but maybe some of these are remastered because there's a lot of classics on here.
Now, Marvin Gaye, he got shot, didn't he?
Yes, he did. He got shot by his own father, which is terrible. But it looks like, yeah, there's some. Yeah, all right, so these are like kind of post Motown. This is, well, no, some of them are, anyway. Yeah, the later Marvin Gaye stuff. You know, everything from like Grapevine on. There's some stuff from What's Going On here. So this is kind of interesting. We'll see what happens. See what that sounds like. These I always try to pick up whenever I see them. An original, a Motown, The Temptations in a mellow mood, stereo. These are always good to have, because these sound great on a 1958 stereo like I have. So anyway, I don't know what this is. The Impossible Dream, Old Man River. Oof. So it's like the Temptations kind of singing love songs. I'll try it, you know. It's in stereo. How bad could it be? So that's that. And then the very last one, I don't know what this is going to be all about. But I've been getting into the Ventures lately because their records are deceptively are a lot better than you think they are. Or at least that's what I'm discovering. This looks like a greatest hits. But maybe some of these are re-recorded, which is why I want to hear them. Because this, you know, that's what would happen sometimes. Like they would do a shuffle. They'd be on a different label. Then they would go and recut a lot of their original stuff because they didn't own because they don't own the masters.
Okay. So
like the new record company will be like, do a greatest hits re-recorded so that we can
distribute it.
Yeah. So
well, now their signature album was what, Telstar, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Walk Don't Run. That was their thing. But they stuck around long after the surf boom. Let's see what year this record is. So it's Sunset. It's still, yeah, I don't know. Who knows? It's a subsidiary of Liberty, so they're still on their label. But I don't know. I'm gonna check it out. It's not clear to me whether these are going to be re-recordings or not, but that's why I want to check it out.
Well, the label says extra special value.
Mm-hmm. There's a song called Guitar Freakout. We'll see about that. But yeah, I bet you these are re-recordings.
Cool.
And so I don't know what year this was. But you know what I mean? Like sometimes you find stuff like that. Like Little Richard, he got re-recorded all of his original hits at some point, like in the 60s or whatever when he got. And so for a while it was harder to find the original ones.
Yeah.
And so
well,
anyway.
Isn't that what Taylor Swift did after she got
right. Yeah.
boned on her
original
recordings?
Yeah.
So she re-recorded them.
Hey, it's something that can happen.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if it can happen to the Ventures, it can happen to Taylor Swift.
There you go.
You know what I'm saying?
There you go. All right. Fantastic.
Yeah. All right. What else? I mean,
all right. That's it, John.
We're like 35 minutes. This will just be a quickie.
Yeah. No, it's good.
This episode, the most boring one of them all.
Yeah. This is not. Well, we're going to have the confetti coming down.
Oh. When does that happen? Is it already happening?
Yeah. Morgan's going to make magic.
Oh, boy. Oh, I got you. All right. You ready? 3,
2, 1.
201st episode. Oh, confetti. Whoa. Yeah. We'll see how that goes.
All right.
Cool.
Fantastic.
All right. Well, hey, I hope we got something out of that. I have no idea. It's just a short episode because we didn't have a guest today. So I started rooting around in records, and Dave was like, well, let's just roll with some of this. So that's what we did.
Fantastic.
Right?
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, the Jon Peckman Podcast.
That's me. Let's never do this again. Well, we just did. But, hey, who knows? Maybe you should cut this up. Anyway, Jon Peckman Podcast, Connecticut Valley School of Music and Dance, beautiful downtown Portland. Come over the bridge, pull a Yui. We have tons of vinyl up in here now. You definitely want to come in and check it out. You know what I mean? Come take music lessons. Come root through the vinyl. Come be on our show. Have your own podcast here in our studio. Dave will tell you how, right?
And make sure you like and subscribe.
Like and subscribe. You know what I'm saying? All right. Thanks a lot, kids. I'll see you later. That is all.
If you'd like to start your own podcast, give us a call at Connecticut Valley School of Music and Dance. Our professionally designed podcast space is here for all your recording needs. Rent out our studio to do interviews with up to 4 people, to record audiobooks, social media content, and all other recorded material. Our rentals include a private studio along with our professional-grade podcasting equipment, and we can customize your output to whatever your needs are. We also have green screen capabilities, which will expand to video capability if you so wish. So check us out here at convalley.net/podcast.